We are apes, we are African apes.
Right.
If you want to believe that you survive death, or that humans do, when did it start in evolution, all that sort of question.
Sure.
It really doesn't make logical sense. But
does it always bring you back to that idea of then, so when did life begin, and does that make logical sense?
Well, you don't have to draw dividing lines. You can say
Right.
that the origin of life was a gradual process. You can say that the origin of life in the womb is a gradual process too, for that matter.
I meant more the origin of life at the beginning. Of life, yeah.
Okay,
that
well,
original organization.
4 billion years ago or so, a little bit less maybe, the first self-replicating molecule came into existence. You could think of it as the first gene. It's hardly life,
Right.
but it provides the bedrock for natural selection to get going. Once you've got genes, you've got a possibility for natural selection.
Right.
And then it gradually builds structures for itself, which to begin with are rather simple, rather like bacteria, and then become more and more complex. And at some point, they start getting nervous systems.
Right.
And at some later point, they start getting a brain.
Yeah, this is the part that I remember from school, but
Yeah,
go back that up a little bit. That first part you said, where did that come from? Is there evidence of where that came from?
No,
that first.
not evidence, because it happened a long time ago under very different conditions.
Where did that come from? Is there evidence of where that came from?
No,
that first.
Not evidence, because it happened a long time ago under very different conditions. There's lots of.
Is it just statistics? Is it chance?
Yes, actually, it probably is. It could have been a very improbable event. There's lots of.
Is it just statistics? Is it chance?
Yes, actually, it probably is. It could have been a very improbable event, and nobody knows that. Chemists are working on it, biologists are working on it, trying to think of ideas. But I doubt if we'll ever prove anything definite, because
Right.
it happened a very
Could
long time ago.
Has anyone come close to recreating that moment?
Not really, no. But sort of bits of it have been recreated. But it probably was a very improbable event. And another way of putting that is to ask the question: how likely is it that there's life on other planets? There are about 10 to the 22 stars. That's 1
So
of
that's
22 noughts.
that's 19. What? 10 to the 22 is.
So that's.
So if it is a statistical anomaly, chances are that has been replicated in,
I think
the
so.
universe.
It's highly likely that there are, I mean, even as few as 1 billion other planets might have life, and that's very, very few indeed when you compare that.
1 billion planets might have life.
I mean, that's a tiny number. 1 billion is a tiny number compared to 10 to the 22. So.
You think I don't know that? That's totally a tiny number compared to that.
So what I'm saying, so if there are 1 billion planets that have life,
Right.
then they're probably so spaced out, they're probably so rare that the chance that any one of them will ever bump into any other is very low. Now there could be much more than 1 billion. It could be unique. It could be that life is only here,
Right.
and it would follow from that the origin of life on this planet was such a stupefyingly rare event that we're kind of wasting our time even thinking about how it happened.
Right. So if I say to you, don't do that to me. So if I say to you, you have faith that other life is out there, you're saying based on the evidence.
Well,
Statistical evidence that there are billions of planets, but isn't it still a hypothesis because we don't know how that first molecule got here?
We don't know. I mean, it's hardly even based on evidence. It's a statistical calculation.
Right.
It's a kind of plausibility calculation.
Right. This is so cool to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to get high later?